Hello, this is another book haul of some of the books that I'm currently reading. I tend to read many books at a time, particularly nonfiction books. And so with the background sounds of the brook going by and my softly spoken voice and some book flipping and tapping, I'll show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the books that I'm currently reading. The first one is the second book in the Dream Blood series by N.K. Jemisin, The Shadowed Sun, The Shadowed Sun, The Shadowed Sun, The Shadowed Sun. This is how far I am. Not even halfway. I borrowed this from the library. I tend not to buy fiction books because I read through them very quickly. So, N.K. Jemisin, and usually libraries can get, this library that I have in my local library can get just about any book that I want. Support your local libraries. Okay, what is this book about? This book is continuing on 10 years after the first book, The Killing Moon. And this book, let's take a look, was published by Orbit Books. And it was published not very long after The Killing Moon was published. This was published in 2012. And let's read this very first page, which is kind of like the very first quote in the book. It says, "In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, 'Is it good, friend?' 'It is bitter, bitter,' he answered, 'but I like it because it is bitter, and because it is my heart.'" And that's the opening quote in this book from Stephen Crane by The Black Riders and Other Lines. Highly recommend N.K. Jemisin. There's an image of the first book. Okay. Next book. I might have shown this one before, I don't remember. But this is a book that I'm continuing to read called Raised to Obey, The Rise and Spread of Mass Education by Agustina S. Baglayan, who is an Argentinian, I believe, political science scholar, not even an education scholar. This was published at the end of last year, 2024. And it was published by Princeton University Press. And I am this far through so far. Not very far because it's kind of dry. It's really good. It's very informative. You fell. But it's hard for me to read through. I'm on chapter 3 and I'm on page 100 out of how many pages? 324 pages before the references. Let's do some page flipping. This book is also from the library because I didn't want to buy it. I didn't know that I would want to keep it after I finished reading it. And so the library, a different library, got me this book. Highly recommend this book if you would like to learn about the actual origins of government-funded primary education, which is like elementary education. And what I love about this research is not only does it study mass education at the primary education level in the US, but it also looks across Europe, Latin America, and 111 other countries with very similar findings. Very good preparation for those of us living in this moment right now. Okay. Raised to obey. I'll be reading this one for a long time, I imagine. Another nonfiction book I'm reading. It's an older book, Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race, by Rennie Edo-Lodge. And Rennie is a UK author. I got this book out of a free pile, hence why there's some scribbles on it. This book was published by Bloomsbury Publisher, and I believe it was published in 2020, but let's see. I was close. 2017. Almost 10 years old. What? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. This book is 8 years old. And I am this far through. I'm not learning much because this is an area that I study and teach about at university, but it's good to hear the perspective from the UK rather than just the US. So, let's read. This is the author. This is Rennie. And let's read about the author, Rennie. Rennie is a London-based, award-winning journalist. She has written for the New York Times, The Voice, Daily Telegraph, Guardian, Independent, Stylist, The Pool, Dazed and Confused, and The New Humanist. Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race is her first book. It was chosen as Foyle's Nonfiction Book of the Year and Blackwell's Nonfiction Book of the Year, longlisted for the Bailey Gifford Prize, and shortlisted for the Books Are My Bag Readers Award for Nonfiction. And this page is kind of glossy as the last. It's the back book cover. Nice satisfying page flipping sounds, I think. What's the next book that I'm also reading at the same time? This book I got when I rescued a lot of books at a local library that were just going to go to the paper shredder because no one wanted them. They didn't sell at the book sale. I think I talked about that in a previous video. This is a very big book. It's a very thick book, and it's Scholar's Choice, and it's by Hannah Arendt, who lived from 1906 to 1975. I first heard of Hannah Arendt through an On Being podcast a few years ago. And this book is called, again, very relevant for what's happening right now in the US and the world, The Origins of Totalitarianism. And the M, for whatever reason, is right here. It's a very big book, A lot of it is dated because it was published a long time ago. Let's see. This was published by Meridian Books, the World Publishing Company, and it was first published in 1951. 1951. Let's read. What is this book by Hannah Arendt about, and why am I reading it? This work has been selected by scholars as being culturally important and is part of the knowledge base of civilization as we know it. This work was reproduced from the original artifact and remains as true to the original work as possible. Therefore, you will see the original copyright references, library stamps, and other notations of this work. And that's telling you about the book itself. But some of the topics that are explored in this book, which, remember, was written and published right after World War II. Part 1 is about anti-Semitism. Part 2 is about imperialism, including race thinking before racism. Part 3 is about totalitarianism. And it's before the index. It is 510 pages long. I think I'll also be reading this one for a long time because it's not new. It's more historical at this point. And it's also a little bit dry, and some of the language that's used is outdated, but still important to read if you want a historical context for why we are in the moment that we are currently in, and what we can do about it. Hannah Arendt. And then you fall again. Okay. The last book that I'll share with you. I'm reading many more. Oh, I love this book. I love this publisher. I love this publisher. I love this publisher. This is published by Common Notions Press. And it's the second book in a series by the Abolition Collective. And this is called Making Abolitionist Worlds. Proposals for a World on Fire. And I love the cover. It's got 2 planets, or maybe a moon, a Mercury, a Mars. And it feels so good. Like, it's so soft. And this is by Abolition, a journal of insurgent politics. It's the 2nd issue. And, oh, it's just so good. Here's the sounds. This is how far, oh, and it smells good too. Oh, it smells like a good book. This is how far I am. I just got done teaching a course on abolition, so this is definitely an area that is in my research and teaching in life. And what is great about this book is that it includes artwork, and it's a collective of pieces published in 2020. Right before all of the uprisings happened, and also I believe published or written before the pandemic began. And so this book includes essays, it includes articles, it includes art, and the previous issues also included poetry and links to video short film documentaries. And what's great about this book is it's written by a collective of scholars, community members, as well as currently and formerly incarcerated people. So just really beautiful, challenging reads, but also informative and really supportive in understanding the carceral logics that undergird the world and society that we live in. And abolition is all about how do we dismantle carceral and oppressive logics and practices and institutions, while at the same time rebuilding or building anew practices, beliefs, institutions, structures, and systems where everybody has what they need and we are all free from violence. Highly recommend this book and this collective and this journal and this publisher, Common Notions. Just highly recommend reading about abolition generally. That's my book haul for today. I'm gonna go back to reading my fiction book that I'm reading now by N.K. Jemisin. Thanks for watching.